James McNeill Whistler was seen as eccentric. He didn't fit into the general ideas of what a painter should be producing. Victorian paintings were usually highly detailed and very descriptive. They often focused on storytelling, narrative drawn from history or the Bible. Whistler was looking for an emotional, sensory response to his art, rather than trying to tell a moralizing story. He saw a strong link between music and painting. You know, even his titles, his portraits are often called harmony in symphony, arrangement, and the name of the sitter would come after the title. So this is a portrait of Miss Agnes Mary Alexander, who was known as Miss May. And she is, in fact, the older sister of Miss Cicely Alexander, Harmony in Grey and Green. She's very well known. Miss May was painted in 1874, or started in 1874, and she actually became ill and the sittings stopped. And it has quite a sketchy appearance. She has not been on public display for a long time due to this very yellowed varnish. Whistler is a challenging artist to treat. The difficulty lies in a mixture of Whistler's technique, but also the conservation histories that a lot of these paintings have had. In his technique, he used what he called his sauce, which was a mixture of oil, terps, and sometimes varnish that would be susceptible to the types of solvents that the restorers would use to remove varnishes. His pictures were always varnished, and in fact he was very engaged in restoration. He had his favourite restorer, and sometimes even retouched paintings. We need to be absolutely sure that what we're seeing are retouchings that come later on in its conservation history. Some of these grey retouchings, I was fairly sure that they were not Whistler. Paint analysis showed they contained titanium white, which is a material that was only introduced into artist paints after the 1920s. So that gives us confirmation that they're not Whistler's retouchings. So this is all a red flag to a conservator when we approach a Whistler to treat. You have to be very sure of what you're seeing and what is safe and successful before even starting. I spent many weeks testing across the entire surface. The paint has become quite sensitive because certain solvents were used in past restoration treatments that have changed the nature of the paint. So I'm applying a method that is slightly different to our more traditional method of cleaning. I'm using a tissue called Evolon, which is a synthetic tissue, and I'm loading it with a specific amount of a solvent mixture, and I'm simply thinning that varnish. It acts with a kind of poultice action, drawing the varnish up. It's very, very gentle. There is a difference now in this square, but there's still some varnish on there, and I would wait a while and then go back in and repeat the process. You spend so long looking at the surface that you can learn so much about materials and techniques. That's one of the pleasures of doing conservation treatments. When it was first exhibited in 1898, one of the critics wrote a description of it and talked about its cool tonality, and so taking that top layer off really reveals the original tones of the painting.